Okay.
Okay.
Papa, you can't see your face anymore. You don't have your face.
Just gonna listen and see if you hear me.
One viewer.
Oh. Okay. Oh, we got 2 viewers. Fantastic. This might be our own family. Who knows? If anybody's out there wants to say hello.
Hello. Papa,
Yes.
can I sit on your lap?
Sure. Oh, come here. While we wait. We're just waiting. You want to say hello to everybody? Say hi.
Hi.
You want to tell everybody something you're learning about Pesach? Yeah, like what?
We eat matzah.
Oh, we eat matzah. Yes, we do eat matzah. How much matzah do we eat?
What?
Lots of matzah. Lots of matzah. You are very welcome. It's my pleasure. Sammy New York Clothing.
What? Do we got Joey?
My pleasure. I'm glad people are enjoying it. I'm glad people are tuning in. We'll just wait another minute or two. Get some more people in here. We did change the time, 3 o'clock. I'm glad some people saw that. And
We got the Joey.
I think we're going to change it to 3 o'clock moving forward because the mornings have gotten busy. I'm sure for many people. But I want to hear from everybody. And if you can, comment on the video, send suggestions about what time works best in the afternoon. Oh no. What's going on here?
What happened?
Oh,
Should I go?
nothing.
Good.
Very welcome. Okay. Let's give it one more minute and we'll start. Give me a second. Okay, move over. All right, hello.
Hello.
Okay.
I don't want to be TV. I am Toby.
Okay, go have a seat. Go sit down. We're about to start. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. We have changed to a new time, 3 o'clock. I think that's the time we're going to do this now, unless I hear from everybody else and you tell me that 3 o'clock's not the best time. Maybe 2 o'clock's better. Maybe 1 o'clock is better.
Maybe
I think
5.
Maybe 5. Just let me know your suggestions. I think anything not too late because that will get much more difficult. Okay, go have a seat. Go have a seat. All right. So we've been discussing the Haggadah, and we've been getting into it a lot. And yesterday and the day before, we were talking all about really how important we are, the Jewish people, to Hashem. So today we're going to shift gears. Shift gears. Yes. Today we're going to shift gears. We're going to change up a little bit, and we're going to start to tell the story of Avraham Avinu. And if you do look in your Haggadahs, after basically where we're up to in the Haggadah, we're going to start talking about how we're going to start talking about our forefathers, And when we say forefathers, we don't mean four fathers, right? We mean forefathers as in those who came before us. So those refer to, who knows who the forefathers are?
Can I sit on your lap?
Maybe soon. Who knows who the forefathers are?
Not 4, 3.
That's right. Who knows who the three forefathers are?
You do not know.
Okay, we're gonna take one from the studio audience here. Ahuva, yes. Name one of them.
She doesn't
Come
know.
on, wait, come on down. Come on down. Sorry, come on down. Okay. Name one of them. Was Rashi one of the Avos?
Yes.
Rashi was one of the three Avos?
No.
Someone said.
Oh, okay, we got an answer from Jonas.
And
Yaakov
Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov.
Yitzchak,
Yaakov was one,
Yaakov.
very good.
Abraham,
Very good.
Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Abraham, Yitzchak, and
Hey,
Yaakov.
I was in there. Don't sit there.
Okay, great. That's a good answer. Yaakov, Avram, Yitzchak, we would accept any of those. There's also some of our other forefathers.
No, you mean
Who
me?
who was the
Oh,
father?
somebody's answering the
Okay,
question
here's
of
a
Rashi.
question.
No.
Oh,
and
Rashi.
yes.
Very good. Rashi was not one of our forefathers, but as we like to say around our household, the Meisel household, Rashi is,
The man.
I want to say
yes, you
the
can say,
man.
Rashi is the man, yes. So there is someone can answer this question, not from our studio audience. They
Okay.
can all remain seated for a minute. But who can answer? Who can answer? Okay. Who could tell me who was the forefather or the father before Avraham Avinu? Before
Oh,
Avraham.
I know.
Or who was Avraham's father? Want to hear from whoever's watching.
I'm sorry.
Let's see what people answer. Who was Abraham's father? Who knows his name? Someone said Adam. No, well, he came before Avram. That is true. But
I know.
we're looking for who was Abraham's father.
It's Yaakov.
Terach. Excellent. We got an answer here. Terach. Terach was Abraham's father. Actually, Terach didn't even call him Avraham, right? To Terach, he was Avram. Hashem changed his name later. So first, we want to start talking about Avram and his father Terach. A little bit about where they came from, what life was like. And we're getting a lot of Terachs here, and also a little bit about how Avraham was and how he thought about and the things he thought about when he was young. I'm sure there are many of you who know the story. We're going to say the story again and elaborate a little bit on it and a little bit on Avraham's thinking. So here we go. Sit back, relax. And this is the story of Avraham Avinu. So
Hi, Mommy and Ellie.
when Avram was little, he was only 3 years old. He lived in a place called Ur Kasdim. Ur Kasdim. Ur Kasdim was not a nice neighborhood. It was
Non-Jewish people.
pretty scummy. A lot of avodah zarah going on there. A lot of idol worship. A lot of people worshiping everything except Hashem. Now, why is that? Why wasn't anybody worshiping Hashem? So the answer is because nobody knew about Hashem.
And they weren't
Nobody
Jewish.
knew about Hashem
They weren't
at all.
Jewish.
At all.
They weren't Jewish.
Nobody knew about Hashem. And
And no one knew about me or Abba or.
okay. Nobody knew about Hashem. Not even Avram. Little Avram, who liked to go to the park, and I don't know if they had slides there. Maybe they had slides, or I don't know if they had swings. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you would find in a park about 4,000 years ago. But he was like any other kid around that time, and he'd He'd take care of the idols in his house, and even his father owned a store where he sold idols, all sorts. You want a stone idol, a wood idol, a mud idol, clay, you name it. What color? Purple, red, blue?
Can I
Terek's got it.
Can I say?
Okay, giant ones, small ones, wide ones,
Violet.
violet.
Oh,
Any type of idol that you could want, Terech had it. And this is how everything was. Everybody served and worshipped these idols. Everybody worshipped everything except Hashem. They worshipped the sun. They worshipped the ground. They worshipped the air. They worshipped everything. But Avram, I'm telling the story now. But Avram, from a very young age, he started to think about this doesn't really make much sense. Doesn't really make much sense because he'd look around himself and he'd say, well, what makes the wind move? What makes the clouds go? What makes the sun shine? What controls everything? What makes things, what's the most powerful thing? Where do I come from? How did I get here? Well, I got here because I have parents. But how did they get here? And he really started to think about this. He'd think about it every day and every night. He would think about it when he was sleeping. He would think about it when he was awake. He'd think about it when he was playing in the park. He'd think about it when he was having ice cream or something similar that kids would eat back then. And he thought about it all the time. But he knew one thing for sure, and that is that what his father did not make much sense. What everybody was doing around him didn't really make much sense. So he decided one day he's going to put it to the test. And this is what happened. His father, Terach, says, Avram, I got to go pick up some more idols. We're running out. I don't know how many people lived in Ur-Kasdim, but apparently they go through idols very regularly. They say, I got to get some more. I got a whole shipment coming in. A big, big horse and wagon is pulling in. I got to go get all these extra new idols that I have. Can you just watch the store for me? He says, okay, no problem. So he watches the store for him. And at some point, he takes an axe and he starts to smash all the idols. He's smashing them up. The big ones, the little ones, the ones that were in the shapes of dragons and elephants. I don't know if those were actually shapes, but he's decided to smash everything. Smashing them all. Smash. Smash. Smashing everything. He leaves one idol left, and that's the biggest idol in the store. Not because it was his favorite, but because he wanted to see something. He leaves this one idol over, and he puts the axe in the hand of the idols, this big idol. And a little bit later, his father comes back and he opens the door and he goes, "Oh, Avram, can you help me bring in some of the extra?" Oh, looks around the store.
Okay.
Everything's smashed to pieces. His whole store that he spent so much time, even all the ones that he collected, maybe he liked collecting purple ones, and he had a whole shelf of purple idols, and they're all smashed. No. And so, here, sit on my lap.
And then can I talk?
No.
Uh,
And all those idols were completely destroyed, everything except the one in the middle of the room. And he turns to Avram and says, Avram, what happened? Were we robbed?
Yeah.
Did a mini tornado come into here and just locally right through the door and pick up everything and smash it but miss one idol? Was there a tornado that came through here? Termites, wild animals, a bull. What happened? And Avram said, "You'll never believe it, Dad. You'll never believe it." You know what happened? As soon as you left, all the idols started to fight. No. All the idols started to fight. And they started saying, I'm the best. And the other one said, no, I'm the best. And the other one said, no, it's me. And the one from way down here said, no, it's me. And they all started to fight. They started smashing each other. And before long, the only one that was left was the biggest one, the strongest one. He destroyed all the other idols. And Terach says, what are you talking about? That can't be. I've never even seen an idol move before. How could it be that they smashed each other? And so Avram says, well, if that's true, that you can't believe that, then why do you go about and worship them? Why do you serve them? Why do you pray to them? And this was the beginning. This is the story we have, the beginning, famous, the beginning to Avram's journey. And from here, word got around that Avram was going against all the people in the world. See, Avram wasn't just going against his father and what his father thought, but imagine the following. Imagine you are 3 years old.
Me?
Well, anybody who's watching, yes, maybe even you in the studio audience here. Imagine you're 3 years old and you meet Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein. He's not nice. He's like.
Well, apparently Albert Einstein was not nice. So imagine you meet Albert Einstein, or you meet Stephen Hawking. Even though these people are not with us anymore, or Sir Isaac Newton. Imagine you meet any of these people, the greatest scientist in the world, not just one greatest scientist. Imagine you meet up with 100 or 1,000 of the greatest scientists in the world. And all the scientists of the world come to you and they say, 1 plus 1 equals 2.
That is so easy. Why wouldn't anybody know that?
And you say, nope, it's 3. Actually, we should really change this around. Imagine all those scientists go, 1 plus 1, microphone here, can't see it, equals 3. And you go, no, it's 2. And they go, oh, there's all the scientists in the world. And they say, it's 3. And you go, no, it's 2. So you're a little 3-year-old boy or girl, and you're telling all the greatest scientists in the world that they're wrong.
No.
This is what Avram was doing. And people didn't like it. People didn't like it at all. And you know what they do with people who they didn't like? They take them and throw them into fiery pits. Yeah, not very pleasant. They'd turn up the heat. They'd say, take off your sweater. It's about to get hot. And they'd throw you into a fiery furnace, a fiery pit. And that's what happened because the king of where he lived, a man by the name of Nimrod, just in case anyone's wondering, Nimrod was not a good dude. He didn't like what Avram was saying because Nimrod's whole world and everything that the way he controlled his country and all the people was through idols and idol worship. Because it seems like Nimrod actually knew about Hashem, but he didn't let anybody else know. And he didn't like that Avram was going around what he was saying. So he took Avram and he said, you either bow to these idols or into the fiery pits. And sunscreen is not going to help you. Suntan lotion is not going to help you. An umbrella is not going to help you. Maybe butter. Butter might help. I don't know. Drink a lot of water. Nope, not going to help you. I'm going to throw you into this pit. And Avram said, there's got to be more. This doesn't make sense. So throw me in. And they picked him up and they threw him in. And Hashem saved him, as we all know. Maybe you don't know. Could be you don't know. What happened next? They look inside the fire and they go, wait a second. Wait a second. What is moving around in there? There's something in there. He must be really hot. I don't know. And Avram came out alive. Avram came out unharmed. Hashem protected him. And from that day on, people continued to argue with Avram, but he continued to spread the word about Hashem. And he continued to teach people. And people followed him and people listened to him. And together with his wife Sarai, they would go around and they would teach and they would think and they would look around the world and come to realize more and more and more about Hashem. Now, I want to talk about why this is so important. Why are we talking about this? Why are we going all the way back here to little Avram, little 3-year-old Avram, who may have liked some sort of favorite cereal in the morning. I wonder what his favorite cereal would have been. If anybody wants to give some suggestions, what would Avram's favorite cereal had been when he was 3? Okay, we have here Bug cereal. Nesquik cereal. Maybe Fruity Pebbles. I don't know. Okay, maybe just plain Cheerios. But why is it so important that we go all the way back here? Why is it so important? Anybody?
We just want to know the whole Pesach story.
Ahuva says we talk all the way back about Avram and Terach because we want to know the whole Pesach story. What do they have to do with the Pesach story?
They were born on the day of Pesach.
They were born on the day of Pesach? I don't know about that. Maybe. I don't know about that. Never heard that.
I don't know about
Here's why it's so important. There's one thing we know about Hashem that we talk about him the most, is that he is the most magical.
Yeah.
The magical.
He can make miracles come.
He can make miracles come
Anywhere.
And
Anytime.
at any time. Okay, that's true. But what is it about Hashem? What do we know about Hashem? What do we know about Hashem? How do we talk about Hashem? What is he? He is the something of the world.
The greatest guy in the world.
The greatest guy in the world?
King.
The king of the world? Okay. Why?
Because he made
These are all true. He's the king and the greatest guy.
On TV, he was watching.
But Hashem is the creator of the world. Hashem created everything. If Hashem created everything, then that means that there's a purpose for everything. Everything is part of a plan, part of a reason. It's like if you walk down the street and you see this amazing giant mansion that's being built. It's huge. I mean, 18 garages. It has 15 front doors, and it's 16 stories high. It has a water slide that comes out from one side of the house, goes around the house, and then down out the back of the house into a pool that's the size of a lake. And there's, right? So you see this whole thing, you see this giant house, and you know it didn't just, that there has to be some reason for the house. Someone must like giant water slides, and that's the person living there.
I do.
And he built it so that he can jump out of his bed in the morning and slide down a water slide into a pool first thing in the morning. But there's a reason why he built the house. There's a purpose for the house. And there's a purpose for everything that's in the house. Even his waterproof slippers. They all have a purpose. So that his feet are not cold when he gets into the pool after coming out of bed. His waterproof slippers. So the same thing is true with our world where we live. If there is someone that created the entire world, it means it was created for a reason, and everything in the world has a purpose. Everything in the world is there for a reason. And so everything is important. And Avram was the first person on his own to realize that there is a plan and things have importance, and that I can be part of that plan. I can be a big part of that plan. And what happened with Avram is that Hashem appeared to him much, 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 much later. He was already much older. First time Hashem came to him,
He was 102.
he was not 102. He was not 102, but he was much older than 3. And Hashem came to him.
25, let's say.
It's older. Hashem came to him
Really older.
and told him that you have to go to the land of
Eretz Canaan.
Eretz Canaan. Excellent. You got to go to the land of Eretz Canaan. And you're going to go there, and it's going to be fantastic and maybe even hard because there's going to be a whole bunch of tests. And Avraham went and he listened to Hashem. He never, ever questioned Hashem all the way, all the time. Hashem said, you go here. He said, no problem. I'm going there. Hashem said, I just sent you here. Maybe you got to go to Mitzrayim. He's like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Hashem said to him, take your son Yitzchak and, take your son Yishmael and send him away. Okay, if that's what you say, that's what I'm going to do. And Hashem made a promise to Avram. He made a promise at a very special event called the Bris Bein HaBasarim. The Bris Bein HaBasarim. Who knows what the Bris Bein HaBasarim was? Anybody out there? Bris Bein HaBasarim. See if anybody knows.
Yeah, don't give it to her.
Well, the Bris Bein HaBasarim was a special deal, like a contract, a deal that Hashem made with Avram. He said, I'm going to make you a great nation, and you're going to get this land, and this land is going to be for your children, the nation that is going to come from you. And in the Torah tells us, when Hashem says to Avram, this land is going to be yours, and it's going to belong to your descendants, people that will come from you. Avram asks, well, how will I know? B'ma'ida. How will I know? With what will I know that this is going to be true? And then Hashem says, and this is where our story really takes the turn, is that you're going to have this, your descendants are going to go to a land that's not theirs, and they're going to be enslaved there for 400 years. They're going to be enslaved there for 400 years. And then I will take them out from there, and I will bring them back to the land of Eretz Canaan. Now, great story. Bravo. Good story.
Finished?
Nope.
He's
But
almost
the question
finished,
is, why would Avram, or as Avraham as he was now known, why would Avraham need to ask Hashem, Hashem, you're telling me we're going to have this land and there's going to be these descendants from me, these people, and they're going to have this land, but how do I know that that's going to happen? Why would Avraham ask Hashem, or why would he question what Hashem is telling him if he's never done that before? Avraham, who trusted in Hashem, had complete emunah in Hashem. Avram, who had bitachon in Hashem. The one who discovered Hashem all on his own would question. Why would he question what Hashem is telling him? He never questioned it before. Why would he question what Hashem was telling him? Let's see if anybody knows. See if there's any answers out there. We're looking for any answers.
Yeah, he's looking for any answers.
Yeah, listen to her. Looking for answers.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
And you can listen to me.
Any answers? Anyone? Okay. Let's see if anybody wants to answer.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Here's the answer.
You there.
Can I sound?
The answer must be that Avraham was not asking how would he know that he would get the land. Because
Yeah, listen to him more than me.
because Avram would never it's just how could it be that Avram would ever question what Hashem was telling him when he listened to everything else? So Avram wasn't questioning if Hashem would be able to do this. Avram was asking Hashem something super important, and it is also the reason why Hashem answered in the way he did. Because how does being enslaved for 400 years prove to Avram that you're going to have, that your descendants are going to go to a land? I mean, we can wait and see, but it doesn't really answer anything for Avram. He'll be long gone. So how does this answer? So Avram wasn't asking. Show me. He wasn't questioning Hashem's ability to give him the land. He was asking him something very important. How is it that I'm going to have a nation of people that are going to come from me and they're going to stick around and stick together and become a people, a Jewish people, and not just be part of any other type of people, just be part of their own people? What's going to stop them from disappearing amongst all the other people in the world? How am I going to have a nation that will then get this land? And Hashem tells Avraham something very, very important. And this is really, really key to the whole Pesach experience, the whole Haggadah, and what it means to be a Jewish person, and really a lot about how what happens to the Jewish people throughout all of history. And that is you know how we're going to keep, you know how you're going to make a people? You know how you're going to have a people come from you? We're going to make a situation where all the people that come from you, all the children, the grandchildren, the great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren, they're going to stick together. They're always going to stick together. They're going to be close. They're going to stick together. How are we going to do that? By pressure. Pressure. When you squeeze and put pressure on things, they come together. They stick together. Whenever bad things are happening, or bad people are coming around, or there is maybe, let's say there's some crazy virus going around, and a lot of people are in the same situation, in a bad situation, people come together. People get together, and they help each other, and they stick with each other. And Hashem says, we're going to go through a process where there's going to be some bad stuff that's going to happen, and it's going to bring your children and their children and their children's children together, so much so that they're never going to separate again. They're going to stay as one people. And we'll talk more about that next time. More about that idea. We're going to stop there. And before we go on, I guess let's talk about one. That's the end of part one. Let's talk about part two, a halacha, or something to do with the practical Pesach as it comes. So we talked about getting rid of chametz, getting rid of chametz, dika, burning and destroying your chametz. We got to make sure also, I forgot to add this, we have to make sure that we burn our chametz in the first third of the day on Erev Pesach. And there's something else that goes on Erev Pesach, is that if you are a firstborn male, firstborn boy, you are bar mitzvah, or if you're not bar mitzvah, you or your father have to fast the whole day before Pesach, Erev Pesach. Unless you go and hear a siyum in shul, or you partake in a sudas mitzvah, partake in a mitzvah that has a suda, a meal that goes with it, then you can be exempt. We have this rule, you can be exempt from having to do that fast. But otherwise, there is the Tanis Bechoros, the fast of the firstborn, because on that first night, that night by Pesach, all the firstborns of Mitzrayim were killed, and had it not been for Hashem, who told us to put the blood on our doorposts, we would have also been killed. So, in order to recognize the event, firstborn boys will fast on Erev Pesach, on the eve of Passover. Yeah. Unless you go to a siyum, you go to somebody, make sure you're there, and make sure you go and eat with the meal or whatever that they set up there, and then you'll be good to eat anything except chametz and matzah the rest of the day, right? Okay, so that concludes this video. Thank you again for tuning in, everybody. If you're watching now, if you're going to watch later, we'll send your comments if you want a different time than 3. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and do this again at 3 o'clock. We won't do tomorrow since it's Erev Shabbos. It is Shabbos Eve, the eve of the Sabbath. And so therefore, it's going to be quite busy. So we're not going to do it then. We will see everybody, Mirz Hashem, God willing, on Monday next week, 3 p.m. I hope that I won't see you there because you'll all be back in school. But in case you're not, I'll be here. Learn more about Pesach. And everybody have a great Shabbos and be well.
Not going to school.